Every single day, your mind is either working for you or against you. It's shaping your focus, your actions, and the quality of your life. Most people don't realize how much of their struggle comes from what's going on inside their own head. They get stuck in doubt, fear, and distraction. Not because they're lazy, but because they've never learned how to take control. The truth is, you don't need more time, more talent, or more luck. You need more control over what you think about, how you respond, and where you direct your focus. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, responsibility, and practice. If you're tired of starting over, if you're ready to stop letting stress and fear take over, then it's time to learn how to guide your thoughts with purpose. Because once you control your mind, you can control your life. One thought, one choice, one day at a time. Let's get started. Number 1, your thoughts shape your reality. Every single day, your mind is not just a part of you. It is the very foundation of your experience in this world. Every feeling you have, every decision you make, and every action you take begins with a thought. Your thoughts are not just random noise. They are the building blocks of your reality. When you wake up in the morning, your mind starts to run through ideas, beliefs. These thoughts might be about what happened yesterday, what worries you about today, or what dreams you hold for tomorrow. No matter what those thoughts are, they set the tone for your day, for your mood, and for your behavior. When the thoughts are positive, you move with confidence, you act with clarity, and you attract opportunities. When your thoughts are negative, they weigh you down, confuse you, and close doors before you even knock. The first thing to understand is this: the quality of your thoughts directly influences the quality of your life. If you let your mind fill with doubt, fear, and criticism, your reality will feel like a heavy burden. You will see obstacles everywhere and feel powerless to change your situation. On the other hand, if you choose to think about possibilities, your strengths, and the good things around you, your life begins to shift. The difference lies in the control you have over your thoughts. No one else controls your mind. You have the ability and the responsibility to choose what stays there and what goes. It is easy to let the mind wander, especially when life throws challenges your way. Your mind is designed to protect you, so it often focuses on danger, problems, and threats. That's a natural function. But when this protective instinct becomes the default mode, it stops you from moving forward. Fear of failure, worry about what others think, or anxiety about the unknown can keep you stuck. That's why controlling your mind is crucial. It means training yourself to recognize when negative thoughts come in and replacing them with thoughts that serve you better. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about being honest with yourself and choosing what to believe. If you constantly think, "I can't do this," then you've already lost before you start. Your brain believes what you feed it. If you tell yourself that you are capable, even when you don't feel it yet, your mind will start looking for ways to prove you right. This creates momentum. The thoughts you repeat over time become habits of the mind. Habits are powerful because they shape your actions without you even realizing it. Your reality is created by the habits of your mind. If every morning you wake up and focus on what you lack or what might go wrong, your whole day will reflect that perspective. You'll feel drained, your motivation will drop, and your opportunities will slip away. If instead you start by focusing on what you can do, what you are grateful for, and what steps you can take today, your mind will build energy and focus. This mindset fuels persistence and resilience. Two things you need more than talent or luck. Emotions also follow your thought. When you think about something positive, your body releases chemicals that make you feel good, like dopamine and serotonin. These feelings give you energy and confidence to take action. When your thoughts are negative, your body releases stress hormones that tighten your muscles, cloud your judgment, and tire you out. Understanding this connection helps you see that controlling your mind isn't just about willpower. It's about taking care of your body and your overall well-being. This is why being aware of your thoughts is the first step. The mind often runs on autopilot, repeating the same stories over and over. These stories might come from childhood, past failures, or harsh words you heard growing up. But you don't have to accept those stories as true. You can challenge them. You can decide to write a new story, one that supports the person you want to become. It starts with catching your thoughts as they happen. When you notice a negative thought, ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this true? What can I think instead? It takes practice, because your mind is used to thinking a certain way. But over time, new thoughts become stronger. You create a new mental pattern. This pattern then shapes your feelings, your behavior, and your results. It's a slow but steady process. Just like exercise strengthens your muscles, mental control strengthens your mind. You might ask, how do I keep my mind on the right track when life is so difficult? The answer is in small daily choices. What you read, who you talk to, how you spend your time. All these feed your mind. Choose books and talks that teach you, people who encourage you, and activities that inspire you. Turn off the noise that drags you down. This is not about avoiding reality. It's about protecting your mind so it can work for you, not against you. One important practice is to repeat positive, truthful thoughts to yourself regularly. This can be simple affirmations like, I am capable, or I can handle challenges, or I am growing every day. Saying these things aloud, writing them down, or thinking them in quiet moments rewires your brain to accept these truths. When you do this consistently, your mind will start to believe these positive statements more than the negative ones. Your thoughts also influence the people around you. When you carry positive energy, others respond to it. They see your confidence and want to be around you. When you are burdened by doubt and negativity, your energy pulls people away. Controlling your mind not only changes your reality, but the reality of those you interact with. You will face setbacks. You will hear voices, both inside and outside, that say you can't do it. But controlling your mind means you decide which voice to listen to. You don't have to believe everything you think. You have the power to choose your thoughts, like choosing clothes to wear. Some fit, some don't. Choose thoughts that fit your goals and your dreams. Remember, controlling your mind is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong skill. There will be days when your mind feels out of control. Those are the moments when your practice matters most. Keep returning to the truth that your thoughts shape your reality. Use this knowledge to guide you back to the path you want. Think about a time when your mind was clear and focused. How did you feel? Stronger, calmer, more certain? That feeling is always available if you control your thought. Every single day you can decide what you think about and how you react. This simple but powerful action is the key to living the life you want. Your mind is your most valuable tool. Treat it with care. Feed it good thoughts. Protect it from harmful ideas. Train it to focus on what builds you up. Your reality is created by your mind. Take control of it. The life you want starts there. Number 2, you must guard your mind from negative influences. Every day, your mind faces countless inputs from the world around you. These inputs come in many forms. Words from others, news reports, social media posts, even your own internal voice. Not all of these influences are helpful. In fact, some can be deeply harmful if you allow them to settle in your mind without question. Guarding your mind from negative influences means being intentional about what you let in and what you refuse to accept. The human mind is incredibly receptive. It listens to everything, whether you want it to or not. You might overhear a discouraging comment, read something upsetting, or encounter a thought that makes you doubt yourself. If you are not careful, these negative inputs start to shape your feelings and your action. They create a mental environment filled with doubt, fear, and frustration. This environment makes it difficult to stay motivated, make clear decisions, and keep moving forward. Recognizing negative influences is the first step in protecting your mind. These influences often come disguised as harmless chatter or casual comments. They might come from people who don't believe in your goals or who express constant complaints about life. They may come from media that focuses heavily on problems, conflicts, or failure stories without offering solutions. Even your own self-talk can turn into a negative influence when it becomes critical or limiting. Guarding your mind does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing what you focus on and allowing only what builds your confidence, knowledge, and peace to stay. Negative influences work like toxins in your mental system. The more you absorb them, the more your thoughts become clouded. Your energy diminishes and your clarity disappears. Protecting your mind is about creating a mental space where positive, constructive, and empowering thoughts can thrive. One effective way to guard your mind is by controlling the sources you expose yourself to. This means choosing your company carefully. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, share positive attitudes, and respect your aspirations. Limit time spent with those who constantly complain, criticize, or drain your energy. The people you spend time with have a strong impact on how you think and feel about yourself and the world. The media you consume also plays a major role. Headlines that highlight disasters or failures grab attention, but they don't always help you build the mindset you need. Select books, podcasts, and videos that teach, inspire, and challenge you to improve. The words you feed your mind become the soil where your thoughts grow. If the soil is full of weeds, the flowers of your potential will struggle to bloom. Your internal dialogue is the most powerful influence of all. Many people are unaware of how harshly they speak to themselves. That inner critic can be relentless, pointing out every mistake, every failure, and every weakness. Guarding your mind means you become aware of this voice and learn to challenge it. When negative self-talk arises, question its truth. Ask yourself if you would speak that way to a friend. If the answer is no, then don't allow it to live in your mind. Replacing negative self-talk with positive affirmations and truthful statements rewires your brain over time. Your mind begins to accept that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of success. This internal protection builds resilience and keeps you moving forward when external negativity tries to pull you back. There are also moments when negative influences come unexpectedly. A harsh comment, a piece of bad news, or a difficult situation can trigger feelings of discouragement or despair. Guarding your mind means learning to pause before reacting. Take a moment to breathe, reflect, and decide how you want to respond. You don't have to let every negative input control your emotions or your actions. You have the power to filter these moments and decide what to accept. Practicing gratitude is a powerful shield against negative influence. When you focus on what is good in your life, your mind naturally resists the pull of negativity. Gratitude rewires your perspective. It shifts your attention from problems to possibilities, from scarcity to abundance. This simple but powerful habit helps you maintain a mental innate where negativity has little room to grow. Your physical environment also affects your mind's ability to stay positive. A cluttered, noisy, or chaotic space can feed confusion and stress. Creating an organized, peaceful space helps calm your mind and makes it easier to focus on positive thoughts. Taking care of your body through healthy eating, exercise, and rest strengthens your mental defenses. A tired, unhealthy body makes it easier for negative influences to take hold. Your mind is the gatekeeper of your reality. Every thought you allow to enter shapes your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. Guarding your mind means you become the gatekeeper, not a passive receiver. This responsibility requires vigilance, practice, and patience. Negative influences are everywhere, but they do not have to define your life. The process of guarding your mind is ongoing. It requires you to notice what you think and feel throughout the day. It means asking yourself if the thoughts and information you are receiving are helping or hurting your progress. When you catch negativity creeping in, take action to change the mental channel. Replace the negative input with something positive, empowering, or education. This work builds mental strength. Like muscles, your mind grows stronger as you practice guarding it. Over time, you will notice that negativity bounces off you more easily. You will stay calm in difficult situations. Your focus will sharpen and your energy will increase. Sometimes guarding your mind means setting boundaries. Saying no to certain conversations, social media platforms, or even habits that feed negativity. It might mean spending less time with people who don't support your growth. These boundaries are not walls to shut others out, but fences that protect your well-being. Guarding your mind also involves feeding it regularly with inspiration. This can come from stories of people who overcame difficulties, lessons learned from mentors, or moments of personal reflection. The more you fill your mind with positive influences, the less room there is for negativity to enter. When your mind is guarded well, you will notice a shift in how you approach challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel prepared. Instead of doubting yourself, you trust your ability to find solutions. Instead of being drained by setbacks, you recover quickly. Remember, you are the most important who can influence your mind. Others may try to fill it with negativity, but your job is to protect. This protection allows you to create a life of purpose, joy, and success. Your mind is a powerful tool. How you guard it determines the quality of your life experience. As you develop this habit, it becomes natural. You will instinctively recognize when an influence is harmful and gently turn your attention elsewhere. Your mind will become a place of peace, strength, and clarity. Guarding your mind is not about avoiding life, but about choosing the thoughts and information that help you live your best life. Number 3, discipline your mind to focus on what matters most. The ability to focus your mind on what truly matters is the cornerstone of success and fulfillment. The world around us is full of distractions, noise, and countless demands on our attention. Without discipline, the mind jumps from one thing to another, leaving your efforts scattered and your progress slow. To live with purpose and achieve your goals, you must train your mind to concentrate on what counts above all else. Discipline means more than just forcing yourself to pay attention. It involves creating habits that guide your thoughts and actions toward meaningful priorities. When your mind is disciplined, it knows where to direct energy and where to say no. This clarity leads to consistent progress. While an undisciplined mind wastes time and energy on distractions that offer little value. One key to discipline your mind is learning to identify what truly matters. In a busy life, it's easy to confuse urgent tasks with important tasks. Urgent things scream for immediate attention, but often don't contribute to your long-term goals. Important things build your future, improve your skills, and strengthen your character. Your mind must be trained to recognize this difference, so you can focus on what drives growth, rather than what simply creates noise. This process begins with clear goals. Without defined goals, your mind drifts aimlessly. But when you know what you want to achieve, your focus becomes a tool to move steadily forward. Each day presents a choice. Will you spend your time on actions that lead toward your goals, or will you allow distractions to steal your attention? The disciplined mind chooses the former. Discipline is built through repetition. Every time you resist a distraction and refocus on your priority, you strengthen your mental muscles. Over time, this resistance becomes easier. The mind no longer craves constant stimulation from interruption. Instead, it learns to settle into deep, productive focus. This focus leads to high-quality work and greater satisfaction because you are investing your energy where it counts. Many people struggle with focus because they allow their minds to be pulled in too many directions. Social media, emails, unplanned conversations, and entertainment can flood your attention. These things often feel urgent, but usually don't move you closer to your goals. A disciplined mind sets boundaries to limit these distractions. This might mean turning off notifications, setting specific times for communication, or creating a workspace free from interruptions. Another part of disciplining your mind is managing your energy. Focus requires more than just willpower. It demands physical and mental resources. When you are tired, stressed, or hungry, your mind's ability to concentrate weakens. Taking care of your body through rest, nutrition, and exercise supports your mental discipline. This balance creates a strong foundation for sustained focus. The mind also needs clarity to focus well. When your thoughts are cluttered, it becomes difficult to direct attention. Writing down your goals, plans, and tasks can clear mental space. This organization reduces the chaos inside your head and helps you approach work with intention. A disciplined mind returns often to these lists and plans, adjusting them as needed but always keeping the main goals in view. It's normal for the mind to wander, especially in the beginning of this training. Distraction is the default setting for most people. That's why discipline is about patience and persistence. Each time you notice your mind drifting, gently bring it back to what matters. Don't criticize yourself for losing focus. Instead, see it as an opportunity to practice stronger control. With time, your ability to stay focused lengthens and deepens. Discipline also means making choices about where your mind spends time. Beyond work or goals, leisure, rest, and social connection are important, but they too require balance. Mindless scrolling through entertainment or engaging in constant gossip pulls you away from meaningful thoughts. A disciplined mind chooses activities that refresh and inspire rather than drain and distract. Self-awareness supports mental discipline. When you understand your habits and triggers, you can design your environment and schedule to protect your focus. For example, if you know you lose concentration in the afternoon, schedule simpler tasks for that time and reserve demanding work for when you are most alert. This self-knowledge helps the mind stay disciplined without unnecessary struggle. Disciplining your mind to focus on what matters also involves protecting it from negative influences that cloud judgment. When your mind is clear and focused, it is easier to see your goals and the path to reach them. Distractions and negativity create confusion and slow your progress. A disciplined mind keeps tent on solutions, opportunities, and growth, rather than problems, doubts, and setbacks. The benefits of mental discipline extend beyond productivity. When your mind is focused, you experience less stress because you are not overwhelmed by scattered thoughts. You make better decisions because your thinking is clear. You build confidence because consistent effort toward goals creates tangible results. This confidence fuels further discipline, creating a positive cycle. A powerful way to build discipline is through daily routine. Establishing regular habits around your priorities trains your mind to expect focus at certain times. Over time, this routine becomes automatic, requiring less effort to maintain. This frees mental energy for creative thinking and problem solving within your focus areas. Discipline also allows for deeper engagement with your work and life. When your mind isn't pulled in many directions, you notice details, find new ideas, and appreciate progress. This engagement makes work feel more meaningful and less like a chore. It connects you to your purpose and increases satisfaction. Your mind has a natural tendency to seek comfort through distraction or procrastination. Discipline pushes beyond this comfort to create lasting results. It builds character and resilience because it requires consistency even when motivation is low or circumstances are difficult. This inner strength carries you through challenges that might otherwise stop you. Training your mind to focus is like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. You learn to ignore irrelevant noise and zero in on what advances your life. This skill grows with use, opening doors to success in any area you choose to pursue. Sometimes the process is uncomfortable. It means saying no to tempting distractions and developing patience with slow progress. But every small step of discipline pays off by increasing your control over your life. The alternative is a scattered mind that reacts to every interruption and loses track of what matters. Remember, the mind you discipline today becomes the mind that shapes your tomorrow. Each moment you dedicate to focus is an investment in your future success. As the discipline grows, so does your ability to live with intention, purpose, and confidence. This focus allows you to create the results you want and live a life that feels meaningful and rewarding. Number 4, take responsibility for your thoughts and feelings. Taking responsibility for your thoughts and feelings is one of the most important steps you can take on the path to personal growth and success. Many people look outside themselves for reasons why they feel a certain way or why things happen in their life. They blame others, circumstances, or bad luck. But true power comes when you understand that your mind is yours and you are the one who controls what you think and how you feel. It starts with awareness. You need to recognize that thoughts and feelings are not random events happening to you. They are responses you create based on what you focus on and how you interpret the world. This means you have the ability to change them by changing your focus and interpretation. When you accept this responsibility, you no longer give away your power to external forces. Accepting responsibility does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means acknowledging that no matter what happens outside, how you respond internally is your choice. You can't always control situations or other people's actions, but you control your reactions. This distinction is where freedom begins. When you take ownership of your thoughts, you stop being a victim to negativity. Instead of letting fear, doubt, or anger run your mind, you learn to question those thoughts. Are they true? Are they helpful? Are they leading you toward your goals or holding you back? This questioning gives you the chance to replace harmful thoughts with ones that support your growth. Taking responsibility for your feelings is just as important. Feelings are signals that tell you what is happening inside. They are not right or wrong. They simply exist, but you decide how to act on those feelings. When you blame others for your emotions, you give away control. When you take responsibility, you become the driver of your emotional experience. Sometimes this responsibility is uncomfortable. It asks you to look honestly at yourself and your choices. It means admitting when you have allowed negative thoughts or feelings to grow unchecked. It means accepting that changing your mindset and emotions takes effort and practice. This honesty is the foundation of change. Responsibility also involves self-discipline. You learn to notice negative or unproductive thoughts early before they take hold. This awareness gives you the chance to redirect your mind. You train yourself to think about solutions instead of problems, possibilities instead of limitations, and actions instead of excuses. This shift requires consistent effort, but leads to greater peace and effectiveness. Your environment can influence your thoughts and feelings, but it does not have to determine them. Taking responsibility means choosing how you respond to external influences. When you hear criticism or face failure, you decide whether to let those events define you or to learn and grow from them. This choice shapes your resilience and your ability to move forward. It is important to understand that taking responsibility does not mean doing everything alone or suppressing your emotions. It means owning your internal experience and choosing how to process it. You can seek support, express feelings, and ask for help without blaming others for your mindset or emotions. By owning your thoughts and feelings, you build emotional strength. You become less racy and more reflective. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, you pause and decide the best response. This space between stimulus and reaction is where your power lies. It allows you to respond in ways that align with your values and goals. When you stop blaming outside forces for how you feel or think, you free yourself from frustration and helplessness. You shift from a mindset of powerlessness to one of empowerment. This change opens doors to new opportunities because you become the active creator of your life experience. Your thoughts influence your actions, and your feelings influence your energy. When you take responsibility for both, you take control of your results. Negative thoughts and feelings drain energy and create obstacles. Positive, responsible thinking and feeling fuel momentum and open possibility. This control is essential to living with intention. This responsibility also builds self-respect. When you commit to managing your mind and emotions, you show yourself that you value your growth and well-being. This respect influences every part of your life, from your relationships to your work. People notice when you are emotionally mature and mentally responsible. This maturity attracts respect and trust. The journey of taking responsibility is continuous. It requires daily attention and honesty. Every day presents moments where your thoughts and feelings test your control. When you respond with ownership and intention, you strengthen your mental and emotional muscles. This strength grows over time and becomes an unshakable foundation. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but your responsibility means you choose how they affect you. You decide whether to let obstacles stop you or to see them as lessons. You control the story you tell yourself about your life. When you own that story, you have the power to rewrite it whenever you choose. Taking responsibility for your mind and emotions changes your relationship with yourself. You move from blame and excuse to accountability and action. This shift brings clarity because you see the connection between your inner world and your outer results. You understand that success and happiness come from managing what you can, your own thoughts and feelings. When you fully embrace this responsibility, you create a solid foundation for every goal you pursue. Your mind becomes a tool for progress, not a source of doubt or distraction. Your feelings become guides, not obstacles. This ownership allows you to live with integrity and confidence. This process is not always easy. It can feel vulnerable to face your own mind and emotions without blaming others. It requires courage and commitment to keep choosing responsibility every day. But this courage is rewarded with freedom. The freedom to design your life according to your values and aspirations. The power to shape your reality lies within your own mind and heart. Taking responsibility for your thoughts and feelings unlocks this power. It is a choice you make moment by moment, thought by thought. When you embrace this choice, you become the leader of your own life, capable of creating lasting change and fulfillment. Number 5, replace fear with faith through daily practice. Fear is one of the strongest forces in the human mind. It stops dreams, delays action, and keeps people stuck in places they don't want to be. It sneaks in quietly, whispering that you're not good enough, that things won't work out, that others are better than you, that failure is too big a risk. Fear has ruined more plans than failure ever could. But here's the truth. Fear only grows when it's left unchallenged. It only controls your life if you give it room to stay. If you want to move forward in life, you have to replace fear with something stronger, faith. And not just once, but every single day. Faith isn't just belief in something spiritual. It's confidence in the possibility of change. It's trust in your own efforts, your learning, your commitment to grow. It's believing that things can work in your favor if you keep doing the right things. It's the quiet strength that says, I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm going to try anyway. This faith must be built like a muscle. It comes from doing small things that prove to you that you can handle more than you think. Replacing fear with faith doesn't mean fear disappears forever. It means you train yourself not to let fear take the lead. It means when fear rises up, you stand up taller and remind yourself what you're working toward. It's a decision, a daily decision, not once in a while, but every day. Because every day your mind wakes up and starts collecting thoughts. If you don't guide them, fear finds a way in. And if fear gets in too deep, it locks you in place. The way to stop that from happening is to create daily habits that feed your faith. When you read something inspiring every morning, you remind your mind that strength is possible. When you take small steps toward your goals, you teach yourself that action leads to progress. When you reflect on your past victories, even small ones, you remember that you've already handled hard things before. These small acts build confidence, and confidence is what weakens fear. You don't need to take giant leaps to beat fear. You just need to keep showing up. If you keep moving even slowly, faith grows. Fear feeds on hesitation. It grows in silence. But once you act, even in small ways, fear starts to shrink. Action proves to your mind that you are in control. But when you feel in control, fear loses its power. Fear often shows up when you're about to grow. That's a sign you're on the edge of something meaningful. Most people back away at that edge. They say, what if I fail? But the better question is, what if I grow? What if this next step makes your life better? What if all the effort is worth it? You won't know unless you try. Faith helps you take that step. And when you take it, you build a little more courage for the next one. One of the ways to strengthen your faith is to remember what you value. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why does your goal matter? If you connect your actions to something important, You'll find the strength to keep going even when fear shows up. Values give you a reason to push through discomfort. They remind you that growth matters more than comfort. Another tool to build faith is discipline. Discipline teaches your mind that you can rely on yourself. When you say you'll do something and you follow through, you earn your own respect. That respect turns into trust. And that trust becomes belief. And belief is what fear can't touch. If you keep your word to yourself every day, whether it's exercising, reading, building a skill, working toward a goal, you show fear that it doesn't run your life. Fear also tries to isolate you. It makes you feel like you're the only one who's struggling, the only one who's uncertain. But that's never true. Everyone has doubts. Everyone feels fear. The difference is what they do with it. Some freeze, others face it. You don't have to be fearless to succeed. You just need to take action while fear is still there. That's faith in motion. You can also practice gratitude to weaken fear. When you focus on what's going right, you take attention away from what could go wrong. Gratitude gives your mind a place to rest that isn't filled with anxiety. It shifts your energy from worry to appreciation. And in that space, faith has room to grow. You start to believe that life has good things for you, that progress is possible, that effort pays off. Another helpful is to limit fear's voice. Pay attention to what you consume. If you constantly feed your mind with bad news, negativity, or criticism, fear grows stronger. But if you protect your mind, read positive material, surround yourself with people who encourage you, focus on solutions instead of problems, then faith has space to rise. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need better input. Building faith through daily practice doesn't mean you won't feel fear again. It means you stop letting fear control your next move. It means you look fear in the eye and say, you're not stronger than my purpose. You're not stronger than my commitment. That's how you take your power back. You keep showing up. You keep trying. You keep believing day after day. And that's what creates results. Not one-time courage, not waiting until you feel confident, but choosing to act with faith again and again until fear gets tired of standing in your way. You don't need more talent. You don't need more luck. You just need more faith and the willingness to practice it every single day. When you train your mind this way, you start to see fear differently, not as a wall, but as a challenge, not as a reason to quit, but as a reason to push forward. Faith turns fear into fuel. It gives your days more purpose. It adds weight to your words and strength to your decisions. This kind of mental shift isn't instant. It's built, but it's worth every bit of effort. Fear will knock on your door often. Faith tells you not to answer. Fear will whisper that you're not ready. Faith says you've come too far to stop. Fear wants you to look back. Faith keeps your eyes forward. You have the ability to choose which one you listen. That choice, made daily, shapes your future. Number 6, feed your mind with good books and good ideas. The mind works like a garden. If you don't plant something valuable in it, something unwanted will grow. If you're not intentional about what goes in, then you're opening the door to confusion, worry, and that's why what you read, what you hear, and what you think about every day matters more than you can imagine. Your future depends on the quality of ideas you let shape your thinking. It depends on what you allow your mind to feed on day after day. Good books and good ideas are like fuel for your character. They shape your values, sharpen your thinking, and strengthen your ability to make better choices. They help you break old patterns that have been holding you back. They show you new ways of looking at your problem. When you expose yourself to wisdom, real wisdom, you begin to upgrade your mindset. And with a stronger mindset, you can handle more, build more, and become more. You have to protect your mental environment the same way you protect your health. If you eat junk food every day, your body weakens. If you feed your mind junk ideas, your judgment weakens. A weak mind gets easily discouraged, distracted, and defeated. But a strong mind, trained through quality input, becomes calm in chaos, focused under pressure, and clear when decisions must be made. Books are teachers that never stop giving. You can learn from the mistakes and victories of others. You don't have to make every mistake yourself. That's the advantage of reading. One book can give you what took someone else 30 years to learn. You get their lessons, their experience, and their growth in a few pages. That's leverage. That's a shortcut to wisdom that most people ignore. Some people say they don't have time to read. The truth is they've just never made it a priority. They spend hours scrolling through posts, watching mindless content, and filling their minds with noise. But if they spent even a few minutes a day feeding their mind the right way, everything could start to shift. You don't need hours every day, just a small block of focused time where you expose your thinking to higher thoughts, better questions, and smarter voices. What you allow into your mind eventually shows up in your behavior. It influences how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you respond to stress, and how you treat others. That's why you must raise your standards for what you feed your mind. Not every book deserves your time. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Be selective. Be intentional. Fill your shelves and your thoughts with material that strengthens your focus, deepens your understanding, and brings clarity to your goals. The best ideas aren't always loud or flashy. Sometimes they're simple truths that hit you at the right moment. A single sentence can wake you up. A single idea can redirect your entire path. But if your mind is always busy with distractions, you won't even notice the good ideas when they come. That's why reading isn't just about getting information. It's about creating space in your mind where something valuable can grow. There's a hunger in every human being for meaning, direction, and growth. If you don't feed that hunger with something real, it turns into frustration. People get stuck not because they lack talent, but because they stopped growing. They stopped learning. They stopped challenging themselves with new thoughts. Growth begins when you start feeding your mind better material. And you don't have to read 100 books to start changing. You just have to read the right ones and apply what they teach. Ideas carry energy. Good ideas give you strength. They make you feel hopeful again. They remind you that progress is possible. When you come across a great idea, write it down. Think about it. Talk about it. Let it shape your habit. Ideas are not meant to sit on the shelf. They are meant to be used. And once you start using them, they multiply. One good idea leads to another. One insight opens the door to the next. That's how growth builds. Step by step. Idea by idea. If you surround yourself with better thinking, your own thinking improves. That's why it's important to not only read good books, but also to listen to thoughtful people. A conversation with someone who's been through more than you can teach you things you'd never learn on your own. Wisdom isn't found in noise. It's found in quiet words spoken by those who've lived with intention. Seek those words, find those people, feed off their experience. Every stage of your life demands a new version of your thinking. What worked 5 years ago may not work now. What got you here won't take you there. That's why you must keep feeding your mind with ideas that stretch you. Stagnant thinking leads to a stagnant life. But when you challenge your thoughts, when you test your beliefs, and when you update your ideas, you keep yourself ready for the next level. You don't have to accept the thoughts you've always had. You can challenge them. You can replace them. If an idea no longer serves your growth, let it go. If a new idea helps you grow into the person you want to be, hold on to it. That's the power you have. The power to choose what you think about, what you learn, and who you become. People who rise in life are learners. They are not always the most gifted, but they are the most committed to getting better. And they know that feeding their mind is not a one-time act. It's a lifelong habit. It's something you do because you understand the cost of not doing it. The mind, once stretched by a good idea, doesn't go back to its old size. That change is permanent. That shift is real. Each day is a chance to put something better into your mind. It doesn't take much. A few pages, a powerful quote, a new insight. If you make it a daily habit, the results will show up in your attitude, your confidence, your decisions, and your direction. That's the kind of transformation that lasts. Not because you did something dramatic once, but because you made a simple choice every day to feed your mind with something good. Number 7. Practice gratitude to shift your mindset every morning. Every morning, before the day begins to pull you in 100 directions, you get a chance to decide how you're going to show up. You can either wake up and let the noise of life dictate your attitude, or you can take control of your mind by starting with gratitude. Gratitude is not just being thankful when everything goes right. It's choosing to see what's still good, even when things feel hard. That choice gives you power. It sharpens your awareness. It strengthens your patience. And it lifts your spirit before the day even begins. When you make gratitude a daily practice, especially in the morning, you begin to notice things you used to ignore. The warmth of a quiet morning, the sound of your own breath, the fact that you get another day to try again. Those are all reminders that life is still giving you opportunities. You don't have to wait for something big to feel thankful. The habit starts by being thankful for what already is. Most people start their day with worry. They think about problems, responsibilities, deadlines. And what that does is condition the mind to stay in survival mode. Gratitude breaks that cycle. It moves your focus away from stress and trains your attention on things that are working. You begin your day not with pressure, but with appreciation. And when appreciation becomes the first emotion you feel in the morning, it influences how you think, how you speak, and how you respond to the day ahead. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. Life is full of difficulties, and some days are heavier than others. But the discipline of gratitude doesn't depend on perfection. It depends on awareness. When you take a few quiet moments in the morning to acknowledge what's good, you build a mental habit that strengthens your emotional balance. And emotional balance is one of the most powerful assets you can develop. Gratitude trains your mind to see possibilities instead of problems. Instead of waking up and saying, "I have to do this," you begin to think, "I get to do that." That small shift in language carries a big shift in perspective. You stop viewing your responsibilities as burdens and start seeing them as chances to grow, to serve, and to improve. That's a mindset worth building. It doesn't happen by accident. It takes intention. One of the best ways to practice gratitude is by writing it down. Keep a small notebook near your bed. Before you pick up your phone, before you check your messages, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be grand or impressive. It could be the fact that you slept well, that someone checked in on you yesterday, or that you still have goals worth chasing. The act of writing it down makes it real. It takes the thought out of your head and places it into your awareness. Another way to practice is by speaking it out loud. Look in the mirror and say, "I'm thankful I'm still here. I'm thankful I can walk. I'm thankful I still have energy to fight for what matters." Speak it like you mean it. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for how you face challenges. If you begin with appreciation, you're less likely to get discouraged. You're more likely to meet problems with patience and progress with humility. When you live in gratitude, comparison starts to lose its grip. You stop looking at what others have and start valuing what you've already got. And the more you value what's yours, the more you start to build from it. Your focus becomes clear. You stop wasting time chasing after what doesn't align with your values. That's one of the deeper benefits of gratitude. It brings you back to yourself. It reminds you what matters, and that's how you start making better decisions. It's easy to take things for granted, especially when they've always been there. Your health, your home, your family, your ability to think, to choose, to change. These are powerful things, but if you don't take the time to acknowledge them, they fade into the background. Gratitude brings them back into view. It keeps you from becoming blind to your own blessings. A grateful mind is a creative mind. When you're thankful, you're more open to new ideas. You're less defensive. You're more willing to listen, to learn, and to grow. That's why so many high performers and successful people start their day with gratitude. Not because everything is easy for them, but because they've learned that starting the day with appreciation strengthens their mindset. It keeps their energy aligned with their purpose. Gratitude also deepens your relationships. When you appreciate people, you treat them better. You become more patient, more forgiving, and more generous. And when people feel appreciated, they show up for you in ways you didn't expect. It creates a cycle of respect and encouragement that starts with a single thank you. Imagine what could change if you started each morning by being grateful not just for things, but for the people who've helped you along the way. There are a lot of things in life you can't control, but your perspective isn't one of them. Every morning, you have a choice. You can start your day with doubt, or you can start it with gratitude. And the choice you make will shape the way your day unfolds. If you choose gratitude, you train your mind to see through a lens of growth. You prepare yourself to handle setbacks with grace and progress with clarity. You don't need a perfect life to be thankful. You just need the willingness to pause and notice, to stop running and start recognizing. Gratitude teaches you to stop waiting for happiness and start noticing what's already there. That's the beauty of it. It brings peace without needing everything to be perfect. It gives you power in the present moment, and that kind of power is what makes real progress possible. Practice it tomorrow morning, and the morning after that. Not once in a while, but every day. Let it be the first thing you do. Even if the rest of your day is filled with noise, you'll know that you started it from a strong, clear place. That's how you shift your mindset, one morning at a time, one thought at a time, one moment of gratitude at a time. Number 8, speak to yourself like a friend, not an enemy. One of the most overlooked skills in life is how you talk to yourself. Most people spend all day thinking, analyzing, planning, but they don't realize how often they're tearing themselves down in the process. If you spoke to your friends the way you speak to yourself, would they stick around? That's a serious question. The words you use when you talk to yourself can either lift you up or pull you down. And if you want to have a strong mind, a focused heart, and a meaningful life, you need to stop being your own worst critic and start being your own best coach. Your mind hears everything you say. Whether you say it out loud or whisper it in your thoughts, your mind records it, accepts it, and reacts to it. That's why harsh self-talk is so damaging. You might think it keeps you sharp, or that being hard on yourself means you have high standards. But what it really does is wear you down. It kills your energy. It clouds your decisions. It keeps you stuck in shame when you should be moving forward. The purpose of self-talk isn't to punish you. It's to guide you. If you make a mistake, talk to yourself the way a wise friend would. A good friend doesn't let you off the hook when you're wrong, but they don't crush your spirit either. They tell you the truth with kindness. They remind you of your strengths even while pointing out where you need to improve. That's the tone you should use with yourself. Not soft, not hard, just honest and fair. When you hear your own voice tearing you down, I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. I can't do this. Stop and ask yourself, would I say that to someone I care about? If the answer is no, then you've got no business saying it to yourself. Because whether you realize it or not, you are the one person who has to live with your thoughts all day long. If that voice becomes a bully, your mind becomes a battlefield. Changing your self-talk takes awareness. You need to notice when the voice inside your head turns negative. Most of us are so used to the criticism, we don't even catch it. We think it's normal to doubt ourselves, to compare ourselves, to shame ourselves for not being perfect. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's helpful. Pay attention. When that inner dialogue starts going down the wrong road, pause and redirect. Say, that's not helpful. What's a better way to think about this? And then replace it with something constructive. This doesn't mean lying to yourself or pretending everything is okay when it's not. It means choosing language that supports growth instead of defeat. Instead of saying, I failed again, you say, I didn't get it right this time, but I'm learning. Instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, you say, I need more practice. These aren't empty affirmations. They're responsible statements that acknowledge the truth without destroying your self-worth. The way you talk to yourself also affects your confidence. Confidence isn't something you find outside of yourself. It's built from the inside, and the bricks you use to build it are your words. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not smart enough, not skilled enough, not worthy enough, then don't be surprised when your actions match those beliefs. Confidence grows when you encourage yourself. When you say, I can do this, I've handled worse, I'm improving every day, your brain starts to believe it. And when your brain believes it, your behavior follows. There's a direct link between your internal voice and your external action. If your self-talk is toxic, you'll start to play small in life. You'll hold back. You'll stay quiet when you should speak. You'll say no to opportunities that scare you. You'll settle for less than you deserve, because deep down you've convinced yourself that's all you're worth. That's the power of your words. And that's why it's so important to speak to yourself with respect. Respect doesn't mean pampering. It means being honest and helpful. It means saying, you made a mistake, but you're still a good person. Or you've got a long way to go, but you've come far too. When you develop that kind of relationship with yourself, your mind becomes a place you can trust. It becomes your ally, not your enemy, and that changes everything. Another reason to speak kindly to yourself is because life is already hard enough. You've got enough challenges out there. You don't need to create more inside your own head. When you mess up, you're not doing yourself any favors by piling on guilt. That energy could be used for learning, for adjusting, for moving forward. Kind self-talk helps you bounce back faster. It keeps you from drowning in regret and gives you the strength to rise again. And remember, your mind is always listening, even when you think it is. The more you tell yourself something, the more it becomes your reality. If you tell yourself you're lazy, you'll act lazy. If you tell yourself you're a failure, you'll give up quicker. But if you tell yourself you're capable, you'll start to act like it. You'll push a little harder. You'll keep showing up. You'll stop waiting for someone else to validate you, because you'll have done it for yourself. Start paying attention to the tone of your inner voice. Is it kind? Is it respectful? Is it useful? Would you talk to a friend that way? If not, change it. You have that power. You are not stuck with the same inner dialogue forever. You can rewire your thinking. You can teach yourself to speak in a way that helps you, not hurts you. And when you do that, your entire outlook begins to change. You don't need to be perfect to speak kindly to yourself. You just need to care enough about your growth to stop beating yourself up. You've made mistakes, so has everyone else. You've fallen short. That's part of being human. But you're still in the game. You're still waking up each day with a chance to do better. That counts for something. That's worth something. And it's time you started reminding yourself of that every single day. Number 9, visualize your success clearly and confidently. If there's one thing that will push you forward before the results come in, it's the ability to see what you're working for. Not just vaguely, not just an idea, but a clear picture in your mind of the life you want, the progress you aim for, and the person you are becoming. The clearer you can see it in your own mind, the more certain your actions will be. That's how success starts. Not in your bank account, not on your calendar, not on a stage or a screen. It starts in your thoughts. It starts in your ability to visualize it, like it's already real. People who win in life don't wait for proof. They see it before others do. They believe it before it shows up. And it's not magic or some mystery, it's simply a mindset that says, I know where I'm going. You can't expect to hit a target if you don't know what it looks like. Vague dreams lead to vague results. But when your mind locks in on something specific, when you can describe it, imagine it, feel it, you begin to walk toward it without hesitation. Now here's the key. Visualization isn't daydreaming. It's training. You're not just escaping the present. You're preparing for your future. And that takes effort. Sit still, close your eyes, and walk through the details of your goals. Picture the work you'll be doing. Picture the results. Picture your reactions when you get there. Picture the conversations you'll have. Picture the level of discipline it took to make it happen. When you do that regularly, you're teaching your brain to accept that future as possible, even as expected. And when your mind expects something, your actions begin to line up. The brain starts finding ways to support that vision. You'll notice opportunities faster. You'll be less distracted by things that don't align with your direction. You'll say no to shortcuts that pull you off track. You'll hold yourself to a higher standard because the picture you've built in your head is too valuable to sabotage. What holds most people back isn't a lack of talent or time. It's a lack of belief. They can't see it clearly, so they don't believe it's possible. They talk themselves out of their potential before life ever does. But when you practice seeing your success every day, you don't leave room for doubt to dominate. You create confidence by repetition, and confidence leads to consistency. Now here's something important. When you visualize your success, Don't just focus on the reward, focus on the process. See yourself doing the hard work. See yourself waking up early, staying committed, pushing through discomfort. If all you ever imagine is the finish line, you'll be disappointed when real life gets tough. But if you've trained your mind to expect effort, to expect setbacks, and to still keep going, then you've created a mental strength that lasts. Also, make your vision personal. Don't build your future based on what impresses other people. Build it based on what truly fulfills you, what makes you feel proud, what makes your time feel valuable. What kind of impact do you want to leave? Those are the pictures you need to sharpen. Those are the visions worth holding on to. If you copy someone else's goal, you'll eventually run out of motivation. But if it's yours, you'll stay connected even when nobody else sees what you see. You also have to revisit your vision often. Once isn't enough. You've got to remind yourself daily. Life is busy, and distractions come easy. But if you set aside just a few minutes each morning to visualize with intention, eyes closed, distractions off, you'll start the day with clarity. And clarity leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better results. That chain begins with you feeding your mind the image of the life you want. It's also helpful to write it down. Describe it in detail. Where are you? What are you doing? How does it feel to be living that life? What's around you? Who's with you? Use your own word. You're not writing for anyone else. You're giving your brain instructions. You're saying this is where we're going. Read that description regularly. Update it as you grow, but never lose it. That vision is your guide. And remember, this practice isn't just for huge goals. You can use it for your day, your week, your habits. Visualize having a productive day before it even starts. Visualize handling stress calmly. Visualize doing what needs to be done without delay. These small visual habits build mental discipline, and over time they create a mental environment where growth is expected, not optional. Confidence doesn't just show up. It's built by repetition. When you keep seeing the same vision over and over, you build familiarity, and the brain tends to trust what's familiar. That's why athletes rehearse their moves in their mind. That's why great speakers go over their speech mentally. That's why high performers picture success before it shows up. Because when the moment comes, they've already lived it 100 times inside. It's not new. It's not shocking. It's just the next step. If you've never done this before, start small. Pick one goal and close your eyes for 5 minutes a day. See it as clearly as you can. Add emotion to it. Feel the joy of achieving it. Feel the strength it took to earn it. Let it sink into your nervous system. This isn't a trick. This is a tool. And it works when you use it with honesty and focus. You've got a mind that can create, shape, and prepare. Don't waste it on fear and confusion. Use it to rehearse success. Use it to build courage. Use it to see what's possible, even before it happens. When you master the picture in your head, you start to master the life in front of you. The clearer the image, the stronger the pull. The stronger the pull, the more deliberate your action. And the more deliberate your actions, the closer you get, step by step, day by day, to making that image your reality. Number 10. Keep learning to grow your mental strength every day. One of the best decisions you can make for yourself is to keep learning. Not just once in a while, not just when life forces you to, but every day. Learning is fuel for the mind. It's how you stay sharp. It's how you stay aware. It's how you stretch your thinking, so your habits can evolve with it. If you stop learning, your mind starts to shrink. Not in size, but in strength, in clarity, in ability. But when you feed it with new information, new ideas, and new skills, your mind stays strong and ready for life's demands. Most people think learning ends with school. That's a mistake. Formal education can get you started, but it's self-education that makes the real difference. It's the learning you choose that shapes your future, not the learning you were required to do. And that's the kind of learning that builds mental strength. Learning that's driven by curiosity, responsibility, and the desire to grow. Mental strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from challenge. And learning is one of the most consistent challenges you can give your brain. Every time you study a new topic, dive into a great book, listen to a thoughtful conversation, or observe someone wiser than you, Your mind adjusts. It expands. It takes in new angles. It breaks old patterns. It gets more resilient. Learning trains you to think deeper, respond smarter, and lead yourself with confidence. When you stop learning, you begin to rely only on what you already know. And what you already know is limited. It may be useful, but it's never the whole picture. Life keeps changing. The world keeps moving. If your knowledge stays the same while everything else evolves, you fall behind, internally and externally. But when you commit to learning daily, you keep yourself prepared, not just for your job, not just for your goals, but for your inner growth. You become more patient, more informed, more open to solutions. Think about this. Every new skill you develop, every new concept you understand, becomes a tool you can use. And the more tools you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes. When problems hit, people who've been learning don't panic. They pivot. They draw from what they've studied, what they've read, what they've practiced. They don't depend on guesswork. They've built a mental library they can draw from in moments of stress or decision. You don't have to spend hours every day with your nose in a book, but you do need to build a habit of taking something in. Even 15 minutes a day adds up. That's over 90 hours in a year. 90 hours of wisdom. 90 hours of training your brain to think better. It's not about reading everything. It's about learning something and doing it often. Start with topics that interest you. Build from there. As your interest grows, so does your appetite for better thinking. Mental strength is also built when you confront your own gap. You might not be good at something. That's not a weakness. That's an opportunity. The person who avoids learning hides behind their current abilities. The person who embraces learning says, I may not know yet, but I can. That's a strong mindset. That's a mind that refuses to stay still. You take back power when you realize you're capable of growing through learning. And that belief in growth gives you mental stability, especially when you're under pressure. It's not only about knowledge, it's about discipline. It takes effort to stay a learner. It takes humility. You have to be okay with not knowing. You have to be willing to admit there's more to understand. And that humility turns into strength over time. Because while other people become defensive or rigid, you stay flexible and focused. A mind that's learning daily becomes harder to discourage because it knows there's always a way forward. Another thing learning does, it keeps your mind positive. It gives you something to work toward. It shifts your attention from worry to action. Instead of repeating the same thoughts, you're exploring new ones. Instead of reacting emotionally, you're thinking clearly. That's mental strength. And that kind of thinking makes you a better decision maker, a better communicator, and a better leader in your own life. Make a list of areas in your life you want to grow. Start with one. Read about it. Ask questions. Take notes. Reflect on what you learn. Apply one idea a day. Learning doesn't change you just because you hear something new. It changes you when you use what you hear. Take ownership of the process. Don't wait for someone else to push you. That kind of learning sticks. That's when growth becomes personal. The mind is like a muscle. If you don't doke it, it weakens. But if you challenge it, if you push it, stretch it, train it, it becomes a powerful ally. A strong mind isn't one that knows everything. It's one that's constantly improving. One that's curious. One that keeps searching for better answers. You don't need to compare yourself to others. You just need to keep asking, what can I learn today that will help me grow? When you take learning seriously, you stop fearing failure. Because even when something doesn't go your way, you're learning from it. You're gathering insight. You're adjusting. That's how resilient people think. They don't crumble when things break. They gather what's useful and keep going. That's not luck. That's mental strength built from learning daily. You also create an advantage in every area of life. In your relationships, you learn how to listen better, speak with more purpose, understand people deeply. In your work, you solve problems faster, make better judgments, improve your results. In your personal life, you stay grounded, motivated, and clear about what matters. All of that starts with the choice to learn again and again. Keep a notebook, keep a reading mitt, follow voices of wisdom, stay curious. Don't just go through the motions of the day. Add something new to your understanding every chance you get. That's how you build mental power. Not overnight, but steadily. You'll look back 1 year from now and see a mind that's stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever. And it all started with that simple habit. to keep learning every day.